Welcome to the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast with your hosts, Jack and Michelle Bosch. Together, let's uncover the secrets to building true wealth through real estate and living a purpose-driven life.
So welcome to our Winning Wednesday. Welcome also what we turning this into a podcast episode for our Forever Cash Life Real Estate Podcast, right? We're going to do two things in one today. And so if you're listening to this as the Forever Cash Real Estate Podcast, make sure you come over to our Facebook group, the Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group, and join us so you can attend those Winning Wednesday sessions live. If you're watching this live right now, like Jonna, David, Tamara, Jason, and many others are, then welcome to the group. Then super exciting. Then put your questions in here right now because I'm going to answer them live. What I'm going to talk to you today about is very simply is building a buyer's list. As mentioned earlier, just a second ago, before we got the recording started, is one of our concierges in our organization, Michael, had already posted something a few days ago where he talks about how to maintain a buyer's list, how to manage a buyer's list. When you have a list of buyers that are interested in what you have, you don't just ignore them forever. You need to maintain a relationship with them. You need to send them emails. You need to send them messages. You need to send them perhaps a newsletter once a week in order to make sure that they keep remembering who you are. Because we all subscribe via email to 100 different things. And if you just go somewhere, you subscribe somewhere, and you never hear from them, you don't hear from them on a regular basis, then what happens is you will forget who they even are. And next time an email comes in from them, you consider it spam, you report it as spam, you delete it. And that's not going to be helpful if you are on the receiving side of that. If you're that person that only sends out an email a month to your buyers list, then they will consider you spam. They will press the spam button, which will harm your reputation, which will, from an email deliverability point of view, will lead to your emails not being delivered to this buyers list. And your buyers list basically loses in efficiency, loses in reach, loses overall. You lose out in the number of buyers. So you don't want to do that. You want to instead listen to what Michael Bolbach talked about a few days ago. And again, if you're listening to this as a podcast, come over to our Forever Cash. Come over to our Facebook group called Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group and search for Michael there and search for his videos, search for our Winning Wednesday sessions and so on, and you'll find them. So with that said, what I'm going to talk about right now is the building up of a buyer's list. Now, when you're building up a buyer's list, there's just a few very, very simple ways to do that. The first way is you can go into Facebook groups and see what people are posting, and you see basically you find people that say like we buy properties, cash buyer, we're a cash buyer, and so on. You go in there and you contact them and say like, hey, are you buying land too? And they might say yes. Well, depending where it is. Well, if you got some land in or just around the city and that is the city that they're looking for, then there's a high likelihood that they actually might be interested in buying your property. So you say like, okay, great, send me your email information, send me your contact information. I can send you what we have. So they send you the contact information, and what you do, you send them what you have, but you also add them to your buyers list, which, by the way, the Investment Dominator, our world-class CRM for land flipping, has a buyers list section included in it, right? So then, where you can add people, where you can manage them, where you can mark which area they're interested in, which property they're interested, etc., etc. Hi, Ali. Good to see you here. So the second thing you can do is, obviously, every contact request that you receive from anyone about any of your properties, we need to reach out to them and find a way to get them to give you their contact information. So, for example, you can say, they click on the button on Facebook Marketplace saying like, is this property still available? So they just click on a button, and within 3 seconds, it sends you an automatic notice that says like, is this property still available? So it's not that everyone types the exact same things into the box. What is happening is that automatically that sentence gets put to you over into your chat box. So then into your messenger box. So then you say, yes, this property is still available. What kind of property are you looking for? And you want to ask open-ended questions in order to get them engaged. And then as the second or third question, once they answer back, is going to be, okay, great. Can you send me your contact information? Can you send me your email so I can send you a link to our property listing where there is more details on there. Guess what? Now they send you the email address because you already established rapport, and when you and then they send you send them that information, but you also add them to your buyers list, right? That's the second way to do that. Now, the third way to do that is you can just also put a link to your opt-in page out there, right? You can say, hey, you want to know, put it with your listing. If the platform that you're putting the property out on allows you to put in a website, then don't necessarily put in the link to the property. Instead, put a link to your opt-in page, which the Investment Dominator, our CRM system, allows you gives you one, right? Hi, Doc Mark, good to see you here too. So gives you an opt-in page. So you put the link to the opt-in page so that they give you the email address, and then they go through to the next page where they then see all your property listings, right? So that's another way you can get information. You can do that also in the DM. You can say like, hey, go over here, and after you, and then within that opt-in page, you can actually change the text, change the copy. You can change what the Investment Dominator allows you to change the text on the website, right? So you can go on there and can say, hey, like join our VIP club and get $500 off your first land purchase. Well, then great. Then now they have an incentive to give you their email address, right? So now that way you give them a thing, or create a report, the 7 reasons why you should invest in land. And it's like, hey, join your VIP club and receive the number one. You receive the research report on the 7 best. The 7 easiest way, or the 7 things you can do with your land, or the 7 reasons why land is a great investment. And then you give them an incentive to give you their email address. Okay, so that way that accelerates now the amount of emails that you get, the amount of people that come into your buyers list, which you manage through the Investment Dominator. And if you don't have the Investment Dominator yet, contact one of our concierges, right? Come over to the Facebook group if you're listening to the podcast, and then contact one of our concierges, David Van, Stephanie Seidler, Jennifer Clark, or Michael Bolbeck, right? They're all available for you to talk and see if this is the right path for you. Then the next thing you want to do is now another thing you can do is, and that's a little bit, let's say it's a little bit gray zone. So you have let's say you have 10 properties available for sale, right? You put all 10 out there, and let's say they're in 2 different areas, 5 here and 5 there. For whatever reason, one in each area is like blowing up, and you're getting inquiry after inquiry after inquiry after inquiry. So you go get inquiries and you get offers, and you go put the property under contract. You go open escrow with the title company. You go sell the property. Wonderful. What you can do, and it's a little bit gray zone, but you can do it if you do it responsibly, is to leave that property on Zillow, on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, wherever you have it, wherever you get all these inquiries from, and basically leave it on there for a few extra days or a few extra weeks, and keep these inquiries coming. Just what you say when they say the property is still available, you say, no, it's not, but we have a bunch of other properties in that same area. What are you interested in buying? And then they answer back again. It's, oh, okay, darn, what else do you have? It's like, well, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for 3 acres of this. Okay, can you send me your contact information, and I can send you the information about it. Boom. So you're using the property that already sold, or it's already in escrow. You don't take it off the market the moment it's in escrow. You keep it as listed until it's sold, and perhaps a few days afterwards. But and you keep that stream of inquiries coming in. One of our coaching students that has done, like in the first 6 weeks, has done 3 deals making 38 grand. He has had a deal where he put it up on Monday evening, and by Tuesday afternoon he had something like 200 inquiries already. That's the kind of property you want to keep on there, right? That's the kind of property you want to perhaps keep for an extra week out there. Or if it takes 2 weeks to close escrow on it, keep it for the entire 2 weeks. That's totally legit, by the way, because it's not yet sold and you're taking backup offers potentially. So, but what you're really using it for is to get more people into your buyers list. So you get these two properties. Each of them, let's say get 50 inquiries a week, like 10 inquiries or 70 inquiries a week, 10 inquiries every single day. You keep those up, because if you keep them, that's just you after, let's say, 1 week, you have a buyer. That buyer takes another 3 weeks to close on escrow. Even if you take it down the day the closing actually happens, which would be the proper thing to do, then you still got 4 weeks of 10 inquiries a day. 4 weeks is 28 days. That should be 280 people that have inquired about it. If just half of them give you their contact information, if you're skillful go about it, then you will get another 140, 150 people's email address for this area and 150 people's contact information and email address for this area. Isn't that crazy, right? Now, give you an example on that end. For example, one of our students, one of our Hall of Famers, Paul Young, early on, he had sold like 20 properties in his first, 6 to 9 months, and he was inducted in the Hall of Fame. And I asked him, Paul, what's your number one way to sell these properties? And he's like, well, it's easy. It's through my buyers list. He's like, well, how many properties have you sold there? It's like, well, almost all of them. Like 18 of the 20 sold through my buyers list. It's like, fantastic. How big is your buyers list? And in my mind, I was thinking, man, if he sells 18 out of his 20 properties, he must have built up a huge buyers list. And it's like, well, it's about 400 people. So to 400 people, by having the right buyers, by doing the extra step of engaging them when they're interested, engaging them. Hey, Camille, and hey, Lauren, hey, Sunidu, good to see you guys. Again, we're doing this live right now, and we're also recording it such that it becomes a podcast episode and then in the Forever Cash live real estate investing podcast. So if you're listening to this live in a Facebook group, make sure you join my podcast. If you listen to this as a podcast, make sure you come over to the Facebook group. It's called the Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group. But we're also interacting here live inside the Facebook group. So a buyer's list, and I love that from David. Buyer's list means you got a scalable business, because now what's happened is if you have a buyer's list, you can and you communicate with those buyers on an ongoing basis. And again, Michael Bolback, one of our concierges, has already done a session about that just a few days ago inside of our Facebook group. Then you're building up more and more and more people that look at every deal. And the nice part is that if you're operating two emails, you can separate into areas. You can separate the people that are interested in this area, and you can separate them from the people who are interested in that area. So you build this up by doing what I just said. And let's say within a month, you build 200 people up in each group. And within a few months, you have like 1,000 people in each group. Now you go have a new deal. You don't even go and put it on Zillow and Craigslist and Landflip and all these different places first. Instead, you first create a little listing inside of your investment dominator, add the pictures to it, create it really nice, create the text to it, create your price point, and you go to your buyers list first. And in many cases, you'll have it sold before you even put it on all these different platforms and have to kind of battle these different places, right? So every single person that comes in, every single person that inquires about it, the goal is to get them added to your buyers list. Will you reach 100%? No, of course not, right? You won't. There's people just like, if this is available and they never respond to your direct message back. That's okay. There's also people who are like, oh no, it's like, I looked at it closer, I'm not interested. Well, what else are you interested in? And they never respond. But a certain percentage will respond, and that is the percentage that you need to foster, and you need to work on the skills, and you need to work on different wordings to see what creates more rapport with them. And what I recommend you to use is open-ended questions. Hey, thank you very much. Yes, this property is still inquired, and still available. What questions do you have? Yes, this property is still available. Well, or if it's not available anymore, yes, it's available, but what are you looking for? I have multiple properties in that area. What are you looking for? Oh, well, I'm looking for this and that. Great. Can you send me your email address? I wouldn't ask for the email address in the first response, because it's like you're dating somebody and you're asking them, do you want to come home with me after you just said hi, right? That might work a few times. But it's not what's properly done in a dating process. Sales is like a dating process, right? You go and you say, hey, listen, hi, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Well, are you waiting for somebody? No. Okay, may I sit here? Sure. Hey, where are you from? Right? You engage with that person and you ask for the phone number a little bit later. And it's the exact same thing here, right? You go, they come to you and they're like, you actually went out first with the listing. They come now and say like, hey, is this property still available? Yes, it is. What are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for XYZ. Great. Okay, I got that. Can you send me some contact information so I can send you a detailed listing about it? Well, yes, great. Or, hey, I'm not comfortable sending you information. Great, no problem. Then just go over here and look it up yourself. Or you engage. It's like, okay, I got a 3-acre, 5-acre, and a 12-acre property. Which one are you most interested in? It's like, what do you want to do on the property? Well, ask them that way. Have them talk, because the more they talk, the more they're getting to trust you. Have you ever noticed in conversations, it's like that's a proven psychological principle that when you're with somebody and you shut up and you let that person talk, afterwards they kind of come out of that meeting and they say, oh man, that was such a nice person. The person didn't say anything. You talked all day long. Now, why is that? It's because people like to talk. People like to explain. People like to share. So let them share by asking open-ended questions, and they will be then trusting you and allowing you and giving you their email address. That works really well when we do the call scripts, when we send out the letters and we call them back. You call them back and you say like, well, one of the questions I asked is like, tell me the story about the property. And then I shut up. And then I let them tell a story. Well, my dad bought this property 40 years ago when he was driving down Highway 40 and he stopped at a gas station and there was these guys and they were doing a promotion and they're giving you a stereo when you bought a piece of land. So we did a detour and we looked at these properties and they're really cool and they told us a story about what's going to happen there. And we said like, yeah, you know what? This is really a great idea and we wanted the stereo. So we bought the property, we made the payments, paid the property off. And then, however, nothing ever happened in the area, etc., etc., etc. By the way, this is a story that one of the sellers told me. So now you haven't said a thing, and they're like, well, thank you for telling me that story. That's fantastic. That must have been quite an adventure, and guys must have had a laugh about that. It's like, yeah, you know what? No, now it's just that we hate paying these property taxes, and then they go into the next story, and you shut up, right? And now we're trying to replicate that exact same thing, only now with a buyer. We're trying to replicate it by asking open-ended questions and having them tell us stuff. Because when they tell us stuff, they think we are the nice people, which of course we are, right? We're awesome people, right? But and then we are, and then allows you then to ask that question, right? Can I get your phone number? The dating question. Can I get your phone number, right? And then you say, or can I get your contact information? Can you send me your email address or your phone number in case so I can text you something or I can email you something? And they say yes. And then great. And then you'll take that in and you got just added somebody to your buyers list. You master that skill, right? And in our coaching program, we actually are doing role-playing sessions on that kind of stuff. Right, we're doing things like Aaron Williams, one of our master coaches. He at least leads 1 or 2 of these sessions a week, and he's doing role-playing sessions with where he is the seller and you pretend to be the buyer, or you're the seller and he pretends to be the buyer, and we're training you. You can and if you're in coaching, you can look at those. Go into our coaching Facebook group, look into under units and find those, or go into your platform on the landprofitgenerator.com and the members login. Go to your platform and look for those sessions over there. And if you're not in coaching, hey, consider it, because that's the kind of things that we teach you in coaching to make sure that you build up these massive amounts of buyers lists very quickly. And then on top of it, the second part of it, which I'll cover again probably in a couple of weeks, is how you manage that buyers list so that it doesn't grow stale. right? So it doesn't grow stale. It needs to be contacted. The people need to be contacted on an ongoing basis. So if you don't have any more new deals coming in for 4 weeks, that doesn't mean you don't send out an email to those buyers list over 4 weeks, because in 4 weeks, they will have completely forgotten who you even are. So instead, you need to send them an email. I like to send them an email at least 2 or 3 times a week. Right? And I like to do that in a combination of a newsletter, any kind of price updates, or a special promotion. Right? So if you have 10 properties, designate two of them as a special promotional deals. Designate if you do a price drop, everyone needs to know about that, and then send them a newsletter email of a little article that you might have found. You don't even have to write them yourself. You go out there and find newspaper articles about how land has become more attractive during COVID, right? How people are pushing to the outsides of town, right? To the outskirts. How rural living has become funky again, fun again. How the tiny living movement is gaining steam, and so on and so forth, right? Hope that makes sense, guys. This is what we typically do on Wednesdays. We teach you something that you can implement in your business right away. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So with that said, that concludes our session today for the Winning Wednesday inside of our Facebook group, the Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group. And this also concludes, because we're double using it, this also concludes our podcast episode for the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast. With that said, bye-bye, everyone.
Enjoyed this episode? Then make sure you like, subscribe, and post your comments and questions below the video. We're looking forward to hearing from you.